Good morning. Getting all settled in here on the boat. I just got the coffee going, getting ready to pour that. Ready to make some breakfast. Yeah, not a bad way to wake up.
In July 2020, we decided to sell our home and chase our dream of living on a boat. We drove the four corners of Florida looking for a boat and found a lot of adventures in between. Join us as we chase our dreams and leave everything else behind. Hi, I'm David.
And I'm Danielle.
And welcome to another exciting episode with Naughty D's. Moving aboard and continuing to bring things out of storage went on for days, while we started to settle into our new Liveaboard life. We savored all of the new boat life rituals, but we still had to tackle the job of our maiden voyage.
We've spent a full week cleaning, decorating, and learning how to live on our new home. Now it was time for us to learn how to drive our new home.
We now lived in a new area and attempting to learn new, unfamiliar waterways with electronics I didn't even know how to use and a boat that I didn't know how to drive. It was only a matter of time before that all became very obvious.
Okay guys, we've run aground on our maiden voyage. So apparently the channels here are real confusing and a lot of people miss this opening.
So today is the actual first time I've actually taken out. We've been living on it for a week now. We're actually right where we bought it from. We have the same slip. It's down.
You're silly. Pretty girl. This is the coldest winter. So we bought gas. One of our tanks was empty too.
Oh!
What? we off?
No.
Oh no.
That thing snapped. Yeah, it was caught on.
I'm just wondering how many of these you're allowed to have in a year. Whether how many of these our insurance will cover.
Well,
Not too crazy that I used up our first one on our first day.
or you could say we got it done right away and we can move on now.
Yeah, got it out of the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We ran aground, got that out of the way. Now we can move on.
We've crashed a drone. We can move on. I
Yeah,
love you, babe.
love you too.
You've never lived in Hudson if you haven't ran aground.
We're on the go.
Yeah, exactly. So when do you guys moving in there?
Well, nice to meet you. Thanks for your
Don, you got my card if you need anything.
All right.
We'll probably see you again.
Hey, it'll always be me unless you're south of Anacott Island.
Okay, no big deal. I misjudged the channel markers for the fuel docks and got stuck in the mud. I was idling, the mud bottom was soft, and we were only pushed 15 to 20 feet in by the rising tide. Damien from Towboat made his way down from Hudson in record time and saved the day. And a quick thank you to Kate Murphy from Global Marine Insurance for adding a gold tow package to our insurance policy, ensuring that this entire event was zero money out of our pockets.
What's happening?
See that smoke? Upon us running aground on the way back to our marina, we get a lot of vibration on one of the engines, and we think we've been a prop. So headed back on just one engine, and that engine overheats. Go down to the cabin and you see what we saw, all that smoke. So now we're going back on one engine, the bent prop engine. Great first day out. I knew I should have taken a Xanax. Just gonna take some deep breaths, one day at a time, and just pray. But have a good sunset today.
Some might say there were curses in this day, and maybe there were. Ran out of fuel, ran aground, lost an engine, fire in the cabin. I've still never docked this boat, but I found lots to be thankful for. To have a tow service only minutes away, to have a second engine that didn't fail me, and limping home on a busted prop. And yet, the sky still clears, the sun is shining, and we're on our way home.
Look who I found.
cargo and trying to get some props off in some very, very little water. We service Pasco and Pinellas counties. Anywhere in those two counties, we'll come to you. We'll clean the boat. We'll do minor repairs. We'll switch out some zincs. If your boat needs shaft zincs, we can change those out for you. Rudder zincs. Yeah, anything in the water that you need a diver for, that's what I'm here for.
Look at that, brand new props. So it's been quite the first couple weeks on board here. I think last you saw we had the divers here pulling the props. Thought it was going to be a fairly simple job. I think I'll get back to that later, but turned out to be a whole different situation. Anyway, ultimately what happened, we lost the port engine on the way back on our maiden voyage. The right engine was vibrating like crazy. Ultimately we found out it was that busted prop, and had the cabin filled with smoke, and didn't really know what happened. So I've got to admit, it was definitely a morale killer. Things weren't too friendly around the boat the last few days here. I wish Danielle, kind of gave me an ounce of a learning curve, but I don't seem to be allowed one of those. But anyway, so the belt, the alternator belt, is what I ultimately ended up going. And it's funny, I kind of saw that coming. I was actually under that engine with the seller prior to taking possession of the boat. The belt was squealing. We got down there and tightened it. I thought it looked pretty brittle, but I didn't think it would give on one day. So all the alarms turned out to be the belt, I imagine, and the coolant that went off. The coolant that went everywhere, and I lost gallons and gallons of coolant into the bilge here. So I haven't filmed in the last few days as I've been down there. I spent 4 hours in there 2 days ago just cleaning all the coolant out everywhere. Started pumping the bilge. I've got about 6 gallons of coolant out of there. I ran out of place to store it, so just went out and got another bucket, getting ready to get back down in there, and we are going to try and dry it out down there, maybe clean it, and we'll get down there and see what we got. So here we have the forward bilge, actually fairly empty now after after pumping it out the other day, but you can see I don't know how that bilge pump there is gonna fare. This bilge looked nowhere near this nasty when I bought it as it does today. All right, looks a lot better down there. Actually wasn't so bad. I've already filled one of these 5-gallon buckets. All right, so here's the engine room. Here's where my belt popped. I actually just went out and bought one and just kind of sat that there just to have it, put it somewhere while I get the mess cleaned up first. This engine actually looks really good now because I spent, like I said earlier, 4 hours in here cleaning it up. At any rate, you can see down there a white, there it is. There's a kind of a white absorbent I shoved down there a couple days ago to help absorb all that. It appears to be doing absolutely anything but absorbing it. But that's why that's there, and it was pretty much just thick coolant. There are things that happen that can appear to be, devastating or bad luck, or however you want to look at it. If you can somehow maintain your reaction, keep your reaction to it level, you might have the luxury of being able to identify a potential blessing in disguise. And I think that's what happened here. I ran aground. It was our first time out, which, of course, instantly makes it seem like it's just, horrendous bad luck. But I ran aground while idling in super thick, soft mud. The belt that popped here, obviously it was, the strain of going through the mud that forced this belt to pop. But this belt was going to go. And, much better than me full boring it down the Gulf of Mexico when it popped, doing 26 knots or whatever. So I think the damage to a lot of things would have been much worse. I spoke with the divers today regarding my props, and he got on the phone and he just wanted to let me know, hey, these props have been stamped so many times, and when a prop is damaged and repaired, the repair shop will go ahead and stamp it to kind of mark how often it's been repaired, I imagine. The dive shop told me these props have been repaired countless times, and these props were going to go. I mean, he told me that the metal on there was so soft he was able to bend them with his hands. Once again, a blessing in disguise as far as I see it. This could have happened to us again, running full bore down the Gulf of Mexico, maybe on our way to the Keys, maybe on our way north up to Destin, somewhere hours from home, and miles and miles to get towed. And instead, it all happened probably less than a mile from here. So I'm going to take that blessing for what it is. I hope that Danielle can kind of see the silver lining in this situation, and we'll move on. So anyway.
On next week's episode,
Up here, there's 3 in the back. I really shouldn't even be moving. I can't even believe I'm moving. My props are probably right in mud this whole time.
this says 24, 19, 17, 12, 06.
Yeah, I can do it.
No, come back off, babe. Back.
And then wrap it around.
All right, this is what we've been doing for over an hour. All that and more coming up next week on Naughty D's. Don't forget, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to follow us at Naughty D's on Instagram for all of our current updates. Thank you to our first patron, Justin Adams. We couldn't have done it without you.